Hello, it's Duncan. When we started the Gilded Rose stock control system in November of 2021, programming was very different. Humans type-coded keyboards, and the quality of the systems they produced was limited by the capacity of their puny brains. We haven't added any core features since the robots took over, so let's take this opportunity to marvel at how much more efficient things are now. Oh, well, that hasn't worked. Here's our Gilded Rose app at the moment. You can see it lists Alison's stock, updating the quality every day and filling in the price from the value elf servers. And we can add a new item. This ID we have to give by hand at the moment. It's not perfect, but it's okay. We can say this is a banana. It looks like I've done that already. We can give it sell by date with a nice date picker here of, I don't know what, end of the week. And its quality is currently 1. And if we add that, lo and behold, it appears down the bottom there. What we can't do though is edit an existing item, so I can click here till I'm blue in the face. Alison occasionally makes mistakes, so she'd like to be able to do that. And speaking to our user experience guru, they suggest that maybe we could just add a little button over here saying edit, and if we click that button it would make the row that we clicked it on look like this one, filling in the bits, and the button name would then change to OK or something, and we could edit that way. This is the file in our repo of user stories in the order that we completed them. And you can see that down the bottom here somewhere, here we are, edit items in the stock list. I would like to be able to edit existing items in the stock list. I should say in preparation for this that I asked Junie to generate its own guidelines.md file. Here it is. And I've got to say it's pretty good. It knows that we run Docker and how to start the databases and what tests to run and so on and so on. So then, I think life may be too short to just one-shot vibe code the whole thing. Let's go to Junie. Here we are, and I'm going to say create a list of tasks needed to implement editing items. We need acceptance tests, including playwright tests. Write the tasks into a file that we can refer to as we go. Okay, maybe 40 seconds later we have a plan. We'll let it play out. Here it is. This plan outlines the minimal incremental task to add edit item capability across the stack. Okay, number 1, here we have our first issue, I think, because it says here extend items interface with an edit update method, non-breaking if possible. Now at the moment, items, here it is, its interface basically is just save or load a stock list. So when we add an item, we just load up the current stock list, add that item to it, and then save it. If we had thousands of items, obviously this would be an issue, but we don't, and it got this way because originally we were working from Excel files on disk. I'm not inclined to change that just for this feature, so I really don't know what to do now. Let's think. I think I'm just going to give it that feedback. Let's say editing items should save the whole stock list like adding an item does. Let's see what we get. Seems to be complaining here a bit that I haven't got any documentation for the add item flow, but off it goes and looks for code. Okay, now it seems to have said add an edit item method that saves the whole stock list, not just a single row. Well, that's interesting. This is probably my fault, but it does seem to be executing a plan at the moment rather than changing its task list over here. Okay then, well, it says it's done. It has implemented app edit items, so maybe we'll just go forward from here rather than start referring to our task list. I'm going to close this and let's go and see what's changed. Well, only app.kt apparently. Let's have a look. We have an edit item that says in transaction, it takes an updated item, it loads and updates the stock list, and if there is an item with the same ID, it replaces it, and if anything has changed, it then saves the updated stock list. That's plausible. But it's a bit of a shame that it's unused, that we don't have a test for it. Let's ask Junie to fix that. Please write a test for app.edit item. Now these acceptance tests are currently in our source test fixtures, and we have an add items acceptance contract and delete items acceptance contract. These are templates for the testing, and we have specific tests that test either directly through the app or through HTTP or through Playwright. So let's extend this. Please write a test for app edit item. It should be like add item acceptance contract with implementations, edit items directly, tests. Let's see how we do. Seems to be talking about the right sort of things. It's looked at add item acceptance contract. It's looked at the actor and the direct actor. It's running tests, but that doesn't actually work. Tests are passing now. That's good. Oh, and we're done. Let's see what we have. We have this edit item acceptance contract. Here it is. It's new. It sets up an actor. It has an edit existing item. Edit existing item to have no date. And that's it. What was in the original stock list? Let's have a look. A sample fixture. Okay, that does have a banana. But it's a bit disappointing that I have to look in a sample fixture to see what the stock list is originally populated with. I think it would be better to extract an item from the stock list as our edited item. But we are where we are. We have this Alison edits, which runs through the fixture to, I assume, the direct actor. That's here, which has edit, which says fixture app edit item. That's good. I suppose that all the other actors must have been edited. Oh no. So how do they compile? That doesn't have edit. Actor has edit. Ah, it's open and throws unsupported operation. Well, I suppose that's reasonable until we're done. I am concerned though that there is code in app that checks the ID of the edited item against the current items. This map is effectively replace. So the tests don't show the behavior if an item with the ID of updated item doesn't exist in the list. And also they don't account for this if here. So they don't show what happens if we pass in an item that hasn't actually been updated. Apart from that though, I think we're doing better. So I'm inclined to add everything in here to VCS, with the exception of this task, which I'm going to delete as superseded by events. And now let's commit all of those. And I don't think the AI has nailed it. I think maybe we'll say work in progress to implement editing items. Just make sure that everything does in fact pass. That seems to be good. So let's commit. And now let's go back to Junie and say add tests to the edit items acceptance contract to show the behavior if an item with the incoming ID doesn't exist, and what happens if the incoming item is unchanged. You know, I think as I'm down here, I'm going to move Junie over there. Okay, it reports it's done that. 2 new tests were added to the acceptance contract. Let's have a look at those. Edit non-existent item doesn't save stock list, and edit an unchanged item doesn't save the stock list. And I must say that it's used our given when then perfectly. This is interesting behavior. In some ways a non-existent item might be a new item. It's something with a different ID. Maybe we could finesse this by just not allowing the ID to be an editable thing. I'm not too proud to just go in and make some hand edits here. So I think this is not edited, it is not really edited. And here I think we're not really interested in the item particularly. We could just say that this is unchanged item and it is the original stock list, which we don't have there, but we do have in here. So we say this is original stock list dot items, and let's just go and get the second one. We'll run all those tests. And then again, back in the contract, I think this edit existing item, we might move this down into here and say edited is, and we've got the original stock list first. I'm going to copy it, changing its name to be a non-blank string of wrap banana. Some oddness there. Actual type is non-blank string question mark. Of course, that's where we're checking that the value we're putting in must not be blank. So let's go back here and we can just double bang that in there. Now we have a little issue with not being able to see the edited in this block, but I think if we yield it from here, then our nice little DSL works. I'm unconvinced by these comments. I think they're just going to end up out of date at some point and confusing. And then if we go down, edit the existing item to have no date, I can see no reason why that's special behavior. So I'm inclined to just get rid of it and run. Great. Okay, and I think that's now just an amend commit. So we will do that. Okay then, now we've got the business logic implemented. I think maybe it's time to start on the outside and try and write the user interface. So I think at this point I'm going to start a new task in Junie and say, add an edit button to each line of the stock list page. There's something of a plan. Explore the rendering, explore the handlers, and so on. Still looking. Okay, the HTML files for the web application has been successfully edited. Although it appears to have edited our approvals test file, don't think that's going to go well. Stock list rendering has been updated with modifications to enhance the stock list rendering functionality. At this point it seems to be running the app test, and as expected it's having issues with approvals tests. Well, something's passing. Alright then, so the change files are the two approvals tests and the stock list rendering. That's quite hopeful. I guess our best bet is to rerun the app and have a look and see what it looks like. Here we are. I'll refresh the page. Oh, and we have a little edit. You can see at the bottom there that it's routed to localhost/edit/ab1, which there is nothing there, unsurprisingly, but it has updated the page. Looking at this, the page refresh has repopulated our new item, so maybe we need a little clear button there, but I'm not going to sweat that, because what we'd like to happen now is if I click this button, it takes the data from this row and populates an edit row like that. I wonder how to tell Junie that's what I want. I'm not sure the AI ran all the tests, so we'll just make sure things are still good. And I think I'm going to amend commit again as we're ratcheting forwards. In this case, I'm not going to put that feature behind a feature flag, assuming that I can finish it today. Okay, back to Junie. Clicking the edit button should make that row editable, like the add item row, with a form to post or patch, I don't know which, the changes. Use HTMX to prevent a page reload. And we wait. Here we are. Implement get partial route to render an editable row for a specific item, hooked from the edit link via hx get and hx swap. All looking plausible. And an ID attribute to TIR to target swaps. Well, at first glance it's on the right route, so we just let that run and see what we get. Well, that was 5 minutes by my clock, and it has declared success, which is good. Let's start by seeing whether all the tests pass, and I don't trust it, so let's clean. Well, everything runs, that's good. Let's rerun our main and have a look at the app. Here we are, we'll reload. Click the edit button on Conjured Holy Band. Are you sure you want to delete the items? Well, maybe it's just the dialog that's wrong. Let's say OK. Oh, well, that's very plausible. Let's change the name. I know, by the way, the ID isn't editable, which I think is sensible. Let's say Conjured Holy Bands. We'll change the date to be 1st of November, and we'll change the quality to be 40. Save. OK, again. But Conjured Holy Bands, 1st of November, quality 40. I think that's pretty good. It's not ready to go to production maybe, but it is better. So I think let's commit that, because either all this change is being pushed or none of it. Right then. Now let's ask Junie. We don't need the confirmation dialog when we edit or save edits, but we should have a cancel button while editing. Off you go. Well, only a couple of minutes there, I think. Once again, we will rerun the app as we don't have hot load. Reload the page, edit our holy bands. Oh, well, that hasn't worked, but we do have a cancel here. So we could say, put it up to 45, cancel, still a dialog, but the cancel did work. Back here, I think I'll say there are still confirmation dialogues. HTMX is showing them. Remove them, except for delete. Reload here, edit. You really aren't getting it, are you, Junie? Ah, well, so much for vibe coding, we're going to have to go and understand what's actually happened there. Let's have a look at the changes. Of course, they're not outstanding now, but let's have a look at the stock list rendering, see if we can understand it from there. Let's see what we have. We've got render HTML, and actually it'd probably be easier to look in the approval test file because it'll be plain old text. I'll go and find one of those. So here we have just the HTML table. This is our header row. This is the line at the top that allows us to create a new item. This is repeated for every row, and here are our cells going across. So we have the select, we have the ID, the name, the sell by date, and here we have our little get, and it goes to /edit/B1, that being the ID. The target is the table, and we're going to swap the outer HTML with whatever that returns. So we should now have a root. Let's go and find that. And here we are, we're binding edit/ID to a get on the edit row handler. The edit row handler is new. It's found a way to extract the ID, albeit not very HTTP4KE, and it's rendering the entire table. Here we are, and it has changed that to take the editing ID, so that the render table HTML, which goes back to rendering table, I assume has some if statement in here that says if we're editing this one, here we are, if item ID to string equals editing ID. Now I don't really like that. I think it would be better if we return just this table row and replace the row in the table rather than the whole table. Maybe we'll come back to that. So let's see where that confirmation is coming from. Well, I'm at a bit of a loss to work that out. The only place I can find this confirmation, this one here, is in the stock list rendering and in the approved file for that rendering. And it's only once, and it's on this form here that is used to delete items. I suppose though that that form starts here but doesn't end there, it ends at the end of the table. So maybe this hxconfirm is applying to everything within this form, including the gets. Where is one? Here it is, it's hxget for our edit. I think this might be time to ask AI Assistant. Let's pull that up. Oh, apparently nothing to show because hide AI chat. Oh. Well, who knows? Let's go back to Junie and say, we'll just ask mode, which seems to be a new thing, and I'll say, how do I have the, what's it called? hxconfirm, htmx hxconfirm, apply only to the delete items form and not the gets within it. Well, here we are. Why you're seeing confirmed on edit cancel, I guess Junie is saying I'm right. What it's not telling me is how I solve that problem. Back in our HTML, I think we are going to have a problem here. This form here does need to wrap the entire table in order to see all the items we want to delete, all these checkboxes. How are we going to solve that? Well, I don't really know at the moment, but I do know it's sunny out there and time to ride a bike, so I think this is just going to have to be a cliffhanger. If you'd like to see whether I or AI can solve this problem, then please subscribe to this channel if you're not already. Click that like button to reward me for my hard work. And if you're going to be within travelling distance of Belgium in September, the 19th to be exact, then run, don't walk to buy tickets for KTConf 2025. The speakers lineup is fantastic. At who's who of Kotlin, including, oh look, there I am. But it gets even better. Tickets are still available. I think it should be a really great day, and it would be great to see you there. Thanks for watching.